So here we go with number 8 in my series of video game movie reviews. This time around we've got tons of money, an all-star cast, and a long-running Herald series with deep mythology. It's gotta be good, right? Right? Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within is the big-budget CGI post-apocalyptic movie based very loosely on the series of the same name. I say very loosely, however, the series up to this point has a different story with every entry, so there's that. Our story takes place on Earth in the distant future. Some years after a giant meteorite has struck our planet and released an alien species, this species for the most part is invisible and kills any life upon contact. Human beings have all retreated to cities across the world that are covered in these giant domes that keep the monsters out. And apparently, by just being in the area of these creatures, you can get infected with something from them. It's not really ever very clear about that. But you can get infected, that's for sure. The story mostly follows some characters that aren't worth mentioning, trying to track down these things they call spirits that can somehow help defeat the enemy. Once again, they're not real clear about that. They give some explanations as to why, but they're kind of vague. They have to periodically go out into the world to try and find one of these spirits, and because of that, a few action scenes ensue. Then there's some other characters that think this whole spirit nonsense is just that. Nonsense. And they've built this giant gun up in space that can shoot the meteorite and supposedly, hopefully, eradicate all the aliens. But the people that are trying to find the spirits are constantly trying to buy time so they can get those and blah 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 blah. Yeah, as jumbled as that seems, the movie's even more so confusing. This movie's kind of deep. Or rather, it thinks it's kind of deep. I will say that the movie does try to be more than just a video game movie and explore more deeper subjects, and I do appreciate that. And it does seem like the filmmakers wanted to tell a more thought-provoking tale, but it also seems like the filmmakers thought they had a smarter story than they really do. The story as a whole is really unnecessarily convoluted, and they spend a tremendous amount of time on straight exposition. And I get, in a world like this, you gotta have a little bit of exposition, but there is a much more natural way of doing it than just having someone sit there and monologue about it. And while it does seem like they were very focused on this story, it seems like it was also at the expense of their character building. And you can have a great story, but if you have zero connection to the characters inside that great story, you ain't got much. The voice performances here range from good to okay. There's a lot of A-list talent here, such as Ving Rhames, Steve Buscemi, Alec Baldwin, and more, but it all seems kind of wasted. I mean, none of it's bad, but none of it's really great either. It's just all kind of okay. The special effects in the movie, which ultimately it's a CGI movie, so pretty much the whole movie's a special effect, look pretty good. Back in 2001, they looked amazing. Now in 2019, they look good. The characters are a bit stilted in their movements, and the facial expressions are a little lacking at this point, but none of it looks bad by any means. It all looks pretty good. So the story's kind of convoluted and a downer. How about the action scene? While I know they're trying to tell a deeper, more thought-provoking story here, there is going to be action scenes, right? Yes, there are. And at times, the action taking place on screen is actually pretty cool. But they also lack any real investment due to the poor character building. All this cool stuff's going on screen, but you really just don't care. Because you could give two shits about the characters that it's happening to. If you can get through it and wipe away all the convoluted mess of the story, it's actually not a bad story and has a fairly good message. Unfortunately, it's just executed terribly. And worst of all, the biggest offense that this movie does, bar none, is that it is just absolutely boring. I mean, even the action scenes are boring because you really just don't care. I hate saying this because I do applaud the filmmakers for trying something different in this genre. But unfortunately, it was just an awful misfire and definitely not worth any of your money and not really worth much of your time either. It's definitely not a total dumpster fire, but due to it being so boring, if you want to give this one a try, at best, check it out on USA Up All Night. Honestly, the only thing keeping this from a dumpster fire rating is that I can tell that they were truly trying here, and they did want to try something different. So I'll give them a little bit there. So there it is, guys, my review of Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a thumbs up. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.
Jane, let me ask you something. You think we're gonna get out of here alive? I mean, I wonder if anybody else has gotten out. You think anyone's made it this far? Huh? Ow! Jane, do you mind if we stop talking? I'm trying to concentrate here.
So let's be real. Most of you forgot or just flat out didn't even know of the existence of this movie, did you? It's cool. The filmmakers are probably okay with everybody forgetting this one.